You guys hyped?
I am.
I'm so hyped for this mid to finally be done. Let's go, Thane. Give me some.
You, dude. You haven't even read it. I'm not fist bumping you. Do not fist bump me.
Wait, I like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life is Daijoubu, episode 58. No fun thing to say here. Sorry. My name's Cole. And I got Skylar on the end drinking some bubbly. This is his third bubbly of the day, and it's only 10 a.m.
Cheers.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you're not going to believe how many times I've peed already.
I got Thane rolling out of bed wearing his Yu Yu Hakusho shirt in reference, I guess, to Togashi coming out with more Hunter x Hunter chapters. But we'll talk more about that in the news. I want to do fist bumps, too. That was fun. Thanks. Yeah.
I recently got into Hunter x Hunter. That's why the fist bump.
Yeah. Gotcha. This is an anime podcast. We talk about anime. We pretty much exclusively talk about anime except for the times that we don't. And those are honestly few and far between, I will say. I mean, we typically...
Good. We stay on track.
We stick to the anime. We're good at that. Today's show, we got, like I said, we got our anime news. We got our seasonal talk. And we've got the show of the hour, which is Lycoris Recoil. Shout out to Thane for picking that banger of a show. I'm very happy I got to rewatch that show. And I'm very excited to talk about it too. It's gonna be good stuff. Good conversations. Look forward to that around the halfway mark. And let's just dive into the news. By the way, I got really bad allergies. Sorry if my nose sounds kind of stuffy. I'm realizing as I've been speaking even more than the prior to the podcast that my nose sounds really bad right now, and I sound kind of stuffy. So forgive me. Anyway, news time. We got 3 shows that are getting an anime. I guess they weren't shows originally, but that's for you guys to guess.
It's not anime original. Let's go. You just spoiled it.
Oh, shoot, you're right. I gave you a hint, didn't I?
There's only 2 options.
Or did I?
Zane. No, you didn't think that far ahead.
You're right. I did not. I'm not that smart. All right. First thing we've got is Uma Musume Cinderella Gray.
That's the horse racing one.
Manga.
That's a video game. It's a gacha game.
This guy's right. It is a manga they're adapting.
Maybe it is a gacha game.
It might have been a video game to begin with, but
Uma Musume Pretty Derby is a gacha game.
Cinderella Gray?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's the same thing? Because I looked at the picture, not very long though, but I didn't see any horses in the picture.
Well, they're horse girls.
I can double check.
Double check that one.
What's it called?
Cinderella Gray. Cinderella Gray.
Yeah, it's
manga.
Is it AY or EY?
AY. How do you guys spell gray normally?
I think I do AY, but there's 2 spellings, and I think they're both correct.
Hit images and just see what it does.
It bothers me.
I think I spell AY.
That's totally.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely horse girls. What the heck? I did not get that from the picture.
What they do is that they they run on the track. Like they just with their feet, they just run on the track.
That's a little unsettling.
Yeah. You gotta look up Uma Musume.
That one.
Uma Musume.
Interesting. Yeah. So apparently, I guess it was a gacha game. So you guys are both right.
Dang it, Thane, and your obscure knowledge of
I know about the
playing
horse,
with me.
I know about the horse girl.
Are you a horse girl fan?
Not really.
I don't know if I like horse girls either, especially seeing after realizing those pictures were horse girls. I was okay with it at first, and then Thane said that they run around the tracks just on their legs like normal runners.
They run like Flash.
And I was just all like, I don't know about that. That's just kind of.
I want them to run on all 4s?
No, I don't know what I want because it's just like I'm thinking like a normal or like a normal track runner. They're just on their 2 legs, obviously.
I know what you want. You just want cat girls.
I think I just want cat girls. You're right. Yeah. No horse girls.
I do remember I saw a clip from the first episode where a guy comes up to a horse girl's like, "Oh, you got nice calves." He just bends over and starts touching her calves, and she's like, "Ah!" and kicks him in the face. And he dies.
I'm gonna turn my microphone down.
He doesn't die.
This guy's peeking. Is that why you're turning yourself down?
What number am
I? 2.
But if she was a real horse, that guy would die.
Yeah,
she had
probably.
The power of the horse.
Depending on where he got kicked.
That reminds me of my favorite Red Dead 2 encounter where a guy's just working on his horse. It's like, "Hey there, how you doing? I'm just working on the horse."
Check.
Right
Hello. I think I turned down Thane. You said
I said 2.
Yeah, I turned 2 down.
Are you not in the middle?
I'm on the bottom.
Oh shoot. Okay, yeah, you're 3. My bad. That was interesting. Things like talking and it's like slowly getting quieter. Anyway, yeah, Uma Masumi, Cinderella Gray. Why is it called Cinderella Gray? What's the?
I don't know.
Is that just the translation?
I don't know the lore.
Okay, I thought you were a big fan.
No.
You're on the gotcha.
Does
the
that
gotcha
have anything
kick.
to do with like horses?
Well, you what you do? I think
Masume? I think Masumi does.
Yeah.
I think that does mean something about horse.
Uma, I think, is a
Uma?
horse. I'm
Maybe
not
Gotcha
sure.
Gray is one of the horses.
Cinderella Gray.
Cinderella
That's
Gray.
what I meant. Sorry.
Gotcha
I'm pretty
Gray.
sure it's one
Yeah,
of the horses.
brain
I
somewhere
like
else.
that.
So I think I saw from the game what you do is that you just
Bet
take your
on
horse, train it, and then bet on it, and you just watch it run around the lap.
Well,
and
Zac
just plays
Efron sings it.
a pre
Yes, thank you, Zach.
a CG race of them. It's like race horse betting. Like they have arcades for that. Arcade.
So
games
like,
for that.
okay, can I just like make my horse really bad and bet on the other horses?
Yeah. No, you have to make your horse good.
So you
And
can
then
only
you
bet
win.
on your horse.
Yeah.
What kind of betting game is that?
Is there another gotcha game where I can like own teams of the NBA and then like bet on the other team and then make sure I got bad players
I
on my
don't
team?
know.
You just built the worst team and
And then I
then
just
bet on the
every
opponents.
other team that I play.
Bro, 100 IQ. What if there's NBA teams that actually do that? This is like tinfoil hat.
Well, I mean, there's basketball players that actually do that. That's a real thing.
Yeah. It's really bad.
They get in trouble.
Yeah. There's referees that got in trouble too.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Back to anime. This anime,
Yeah,
not
anime
basketball.
podcast. Next thing it's got announced is called Detectives These Days. Really? I don't. That's the English translation. I didn't put the Japanese name of it on here. But what is this? This is a an anime now. But what was it originally?
Manga.
I'm gonna say manga.
It's a manga. You guys
Yeah.
got it. Good job. Last one we have is A Wild Last Boss Appeared.
That sounds like a light novel title to me.
Yeah, that sounds like a light novel.
You're right. It's a novel.
Let's go.
Correct. Good
Freaking
job,
3 for
guys.
3. Enthane's big brain knowledge of the gotcha game.
Like he just hit his hands. Okay, some more news. Like I alluded to earlier, Hunter x Hunter is resuming serialization on October 7th for 2 months. Togashi was able to pump out 8 chapters over the
Yeah.
past 2 years. He was able to get some stuff done in this condition. I don't know how the man does it. He's literally laying down drawing, but he's gotten it done somehow.
The fact that he won't hire other people to help him baffles me. That
Yeah.
he wants to be the gamer to
I
draw
kind
up.
of agree. Granted, I don't know if he has assistants or not, but the fact that he's doing anything instead of just like he hasn't handed off illustration. Like
Yeah.
he could just hand off illustration and then just say out loud this is what I want the story to be, this person says this person says that.
I'm assuming he's had multiple back surgeries and nothing's fixed him.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea. I just know it's something's effed up with his body and I feel bad for the man.
That's tough.
Last thing of news is Jujutsu Kaisen is ending in roughly 4-ish chapters because today was
Yeah.
the 5th to last that came out
Yeah.
today. You guys hyped?
I am.
I'm so hyped
I'm
for this
read-
mid to finally be done. Let's go, Thane. Give me some.
Fuck you, dude. You haven't
Give me
even read
some.
it. I'm not fist bumping you. Do not fist bump me.
Wait, I like Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen.
okay.
Yeah, what the heck?
You know, I'm just memeing Thane. Thanks for the reaction. I've only watched 2 episodes of the show. I can't have an opinion on
That was
it.
aggressive for someone that enjoys the show.
Because he's talking shit.
My favorite guy is when Jujutsu Kaisen goes all jujitsu on him.
And he eats a finger. You like that part?
I seen that. He does eat a finger.
Yeah, that's what Jujutsu Kaisen means, is eat fingers. 10 of them.
I'm sure it's fine. I'll maybe get around to it someday. We'll see.
The last season that we just watched, because I have not read any of the manga, is intense. It was crazy.
Yeah, from what I understand, season 2 was some of the best anime ever of all time.
They
according
ate
to
some
people.
fingers.
More fingers were eaten?
No, some people ate fingers and maybe choked to death. I don't know.
Jujitsu'd?
I'm not going to spoil it.
They kaisened all over jujitsu?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's all the news I had. I don't know if you guys had anything you saw throughout the days. I guess I saw Oda say things like the Netflix anime, or I guess it's not Netflix, but the New Wit Studio anime, just do what you guys want to do. But then at the same time, he's like on the Netflix like live act. He's like, bro, you guys got to do this better.
Yeah.
And they're like going crazy from him or something like that. So very ironic, very funny. Good job, Oda. Here's a thumbs up. All right. Let's talk about our seasonal shows. Today, I wanted to talk about a show that will definitely be talked about, at least during our final episode of the season, which will be the recap, the review, or whatever you want to call it. And I want to talk about the stellar adaptation that we are getting with Oshinoko. That's my discussion of the day. I don't know if you guys have any other discussions, but specifically, I don't know how far along into the manga you are, Thane. Are you past this arc currently? No. Okay. So this arc, I honestly don't remember it super well being like we actually get to see the play as much as we have been able to see the play in the anime. But I think they've done a phenomenal job of adapting this arc, essentially, because I was so excited, like, I think it was episode 3 of this season when they start showing the play and, like, they put it in the perspective as a worthy audience and we get to see the whole rotation. My mind was blown. I'm like, this is crazy. They're actually doing it like this. I'm so happy they're doing it like this. I think they're doing such a good job. And this side note, like, Oshinoko's story and characters are effing good. I forgot how good they were until we get to see all these backstory arcs and stuff. Like, peak. It's literally peak of the season right now. Just letting y'all know.
What I thought was interesting, and I just don't really remember this chapter all that much, or this arc from the manga all that much, but we're getting so much character development while they're acting on stage.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like people are figuring their crap out while they're acting in front of thousands of people.
I think part of the reason why I love the adaptation of it is just like we see them like in their costumes and stuff, but then like they flash to like just their normal everyday clothes, so they're still acting like they're doing the acting. But it's like, I don't know, there's just so much visual storytelling going on about like how you can feel the characters' like thoughts and emotions just from the way they're moving around. Mm-hmm. It's very fitting because that's the whole point of what they're doing is acting in a play, and they're talking about how they can't just use their facial expressions, they have to use their body to express their emotions, and we're getting that for not just the play that they're performing for us but also for their actual characters. It's peak. It's so good. It's absolute kino cinema, whatever you want to call it, whatever the zoomers are saying nowadays. It's up there.
I've never heard the word kino.
Kino? It's just cinema or movies in German.
Oh.
And Kino der Toten, you know, the
and now that's,
classic zombie map.
Is that like a term that Zoomers are using?
Apparently. I've heard of people say it.
I'm down with that one.
It's Kino.
It's Kino. That's cinema.
It's cinema.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, bless you, Jinx. Oshinoko, not only is the anime slapping, but the manga seems like it's wrapping up, and this last chapter was crazy.
It was pretty crazy.
I didn't see it going this way at all.
I saw something happen like this, yeah.
I
wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I was like, something's going to happen.
See, I didn't expect this. I expected somebody else.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you what my theories are.
Cool.
Because I got theories from this chapter. Well, what we're gonna get this next one. Oh no, it's on Break Wednesday. We have to wait another week.
Is there a new Apex season?
No, I mean technically yes, but like that started like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so he had this chapter ready. He's like, okay, I got it.
Don't worry, dude. He's not playing Apex anymore. Nobody's playing Apex anymore.
That's sad.
Just kidding. He might be. I don't know. Yeah, it's Oshinoko's really really good. I'm a big fan. Thane, as somebody you're caught up on the anime, I'm assuming, correct?
I'm a bit behind.
Oh, you're a bit behind.
I'm behind on everything, on every show.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm an episode behind on everything.
I'm about 2 episodes behind on some of my shows, and some of my shows I haven't even started, and I kind of look at them and just go, I don't know if I'm going to start them or not.
Just gotta hover over and click that drop.
I watched 2 episodes of one show, and I wanted to give it a 3rd episode, but I just did not care about it the first 2 episodes at all. And then that one show that we affectionately refer to as the Thanos Snap show, it's pretty bad. I think I'm done watching it as well.
Are you gonna Thanos snap
I'm
it
gonna
out
Thanos
of your
snap
watch
it. I
list?
think. I think I might. Is there any other shows you guys want to talk about in this seasonal recap?
Elusive Samurai is like a 90s anime, but modern day. It has amazing animation. And it's a pretty fun story about an 8-year-old boy decapitating people.
And this show's so two-toned because it's like
Yeah.
a happy-go-lucky, bubbly little gamer that slices people's heads off.
Well, he's only decapitated one person.
But I
so
mean, I
far.
guess it goes from like 0 to 100 real quick,
Yeah.
and then back to 0.
It's from the writer of Assassination Classroom, so you can expect tonal whiplashes. But this one's a bit more serious, a bit more dark. It's based off historical.
Is it historical fiction? Is what
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah.
Like none of the
historical fiction.
characters are based off of any.
No, they're real. Some of the main characters was a real person, and the antagonist is a real person. That's like the base of the story, and several other characters around them were real people. But it's pretty loose with history because a lot of history wasn't really recorded in detail back in those days, so you didn't really have a lot of details in between the battles and the years and stuff. So they kind of do whatever they want.
It's still publishing, correct?
Yeah.
I still have that on my list that I'd like to watch. I have not started it yet. I might just do one of those binge at the last one of the last days of the season, but
I might need to do that too because I got to like episode 5 or 6. And that's kind of where I chilled out. I'm assuming it keeps getting good though, right?
Yeah. Well, I haven't caught up with it. So
Oh, is that about where you are too then?
I'm episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I've read the manga,
Oh.
so.
See, that's one of those, like, if you've already know what's happened,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard for me to.
But the reason I
do
watch
that.
is because it just looks incredible. It's like probably the best looking show of the season. The art style, they have like hand painted, like looks like brush stroked backgrounds. It looks like a Japanese painting. And they have like different art styles and when they're doing some of the stuff. I can't remember. I don't know words. But it has a lot of attention to detail. It's from Cloverworks. I know Cloverworks has a lot of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially after one Weekly Shonen Jump show that they handled.
I feel like I should know this. What is it?
It's Promised Neverland.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I hope since hopefully they'll keep with it, since this is based off historical. It's not accurate to the history, but like if they stray in any way, it's like you're deviating way too much because some of the stuff actually happened. So
Hopefully they don't try to condense,
yeah,
like, 16 volumes into
Yeah.
one season. 'Cause
Yeah.
that would be something. That'd
Yeah.
be Promised Neverland 2.0.
yeah.
I was like, where are you getting at? Then I realized once again, Promised Neverland. Skylar, did you have any other
Disaster.
shows you wanted to watch about? Talk about?
Yeah, the one that everybody has been saying is mid forever, because I think it's just cool to hate on it, is My Hero Academia. This season has been insane, to say the least. It's very intense. And I remember you guys telling me, this was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, because you guys were reading the manga up to that point. And you told me how dark it got, and people die. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. It's a shonen. People freaking die.
Yeah.
I think they might go back. This might be one of those situations where they're like, actually, fixed it. But I hope not.
I still like one arc prior to this better, personally.
I agree. This is not my favorite arc, but this is a very dark one.
I like I don't want to say evil Deku because he's not evil. He's still doing
Dark
good
Deku.
things, but he looks like an evil character. Dark Deku.
The
that's a
Black
good one.
Spider-Man arc.
I like that arc the best, I think, still. That was probably my
It's not
favorite.
Miles Morales. What are you talking about?
The Venom Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Venom Man.
It's the black suit. He's the black suit arc.
Yeah.
It's Bully Maguire.
Yeah, Bully Maguire.
Bully Deku.
I still think the Stained arc is one of my favorites just because he was such a good villain. And it was also, for me, the introduction to, the villains are actually better than all the other characters
I
in
hate
this
his
show.
face.
Oh, yeah, he's ugly.
I can't do it from his face, dude. His face kind of does it for me. His
Yeah,
chin.
he does, in the Vigilantes spinoff, it does show that he cuts off his nose. He used to have a nose, and then he just cut it off. Yeah.
He's like, I really like that Voldemort guy.
I like having my face flat completely.
Yeah.
My chin, my forehead, there's this one protrusion. We got to get rid of it.
It's so fun for me, though. I've already talked about it before on the show, but I love the way that they write the villains in My Hero. It's so freaking good, dude. And there always feels like there's stakes. And in some shonen shows that I've seen, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, the good guys are going to win. And I'm not saying they're not going to win in this, too, but I always feel like that these villains are actually powerful and there's stakes on the line. They're killing people. Like, they're not just cannon fodder, I guess.
Do you think there's ever going to be a day when we get a shonen that, like, the good guys don't win in the end? Like, the main character dies at the end and he lost, like, he failed his goal and everything?
Is Death Note a shonen?
Yeah, technically, but, like...
Like, it's traditional one?
But
he
Light is the bad guy.
He is the bad guy, so, like, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Dang, you're right.
Like, that's the point of that show, is he is the bad... Yo, I'm thinking, like, Naruto, but at the very end, he actually loses and dies, and the bad guys take over the world.
Kind of like that Marvel What Ifs. Was that
kind of like a What If, but like that's the actual manga. Like it's got like 300 chapters of build up, and on the 300th chapter, it ends with him just dying.
I'm gonna be honest,
but not like an anticlimactic death. It's like the final build up. You could tell it's ending, but then he doesn't get his goal. He just dies in the end.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that at all.
That's like 99% of people.
What if it was telegraphed that he was probably gonna like you probably got like 50 chapters prior, you're like, oh shoot, he's probably not gonna make it. Yeah. He's probably gonna die. If they telegraphed it, you think it'd be okay?
That could be it, but I mean they could do that and it's like what? And then another person comes in, it's like, I'm here for revenge, and then he gets revenge.
Isn't that about Attack on Titan?
No, but that is something. I don't know if it's Attack on Titan. I'm pretty sure that sounds just like something.
Yeah.
Something else. Almost kind of like
if we go
Death
off
Note.
If we go off historical context, Elusive Samurai could end that way.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, by the way. Like when Cole first moved in with us, this was like 5 or 6 years ago. He asked me that if Naruto died, would I be mad? And I said yes. I said I would never watch the show again. I've completely
in Boruto, mind you.
Yeah, in Boruto. I have completely changed my stance on that because in shows that I've seen, when they kill off a character and then bring them back, it always bothers me because I get really emotionally attached and then I cry and I'm sad. And then they undo that and they're like, ha ha, gotcha.
I was also torn up when Brian died and they brought him back the next week. It was so sad. You like that? It was a good one. I know. Watch Family Guy.
But yeah, I think it's fine if they kill off characters. Sometimes it is to, in the benefit of other characters, it's in the benefit of the story. Sometimes that character wraps up and they're done. I think Naruto's done a good job of killing off specific characters.
Yeah, I'm definitely just meaning like the main character. Like we get to the final fight with Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke wins, kills Naruto, becomes the evil Hokage. I
think that they could do it. I think that you could write it to where, sure, maybe that's what it is just a very melancholy, sad ending. But what's wrong with that? You know, you've got a million stories that end happy.
I think to do it right, you'd have to have like the villain be like his cause, his reason of doing villainy actually is a good one. I think something like that. I think it'd have to be something like that where like you can get behind this villain even though he's doing bad things.
It's like the freaking Joker, dude. The Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. That show makes you feel weird. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna say.
I remember. I think one of the Mazinger Z. I think the manga ends that way, where it's like the villain tricks the good guys and then they lose, but then that goes right into a sequel. So we probably win in that one, but
I see.
Yeah.
I definitely would welcome something like that. I enjoy reading different stories because we get 100 of them that end happy. Not saying I don't enjoy happy endings. Don't get me wrong. I read romance and like that. Those always have happy endings.
Go read Goodnight Poon Poon and then we can have a nice discussion.
See, I just don't know if I want never mind. I do want stuff that's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Well, there was that other one, the Solonin one that I read that you have.
Yeah, but I would say that one ends happy. Compared to Asano's other stuff, that one ends happy.
Okay. Because that one is more like a, well, this is life.
Life goes on kind of a
Oops.
thing.
Yeah.
It's much happier.
Okay.
than anything
I should
else
read
I've read.
Goodnight Poom Poom.
Granted, I've never read Dead Demons Dated at Destruction before, so
I love how
I
you
think-
always nail that title every
I
time.
love to
I think
say
you,
it.
do you like make it a point to nail that title?
it sounds really fun, and that's why I like to say it properly. I might put too many DDDD destructions in there. I don't know. It's like 3 or 4. I don't actually know. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the real meat of the show. The thing that Oh, you have another thing?
Oh, my favorite shonen ending is Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, I mean that guess that does end happy
I guess
in a roundabout way.
It ends happy.
I guess he does actually win in the end.
He does win in the
Yeah.
end. It's an interesting take, an interesting thought.
Yeah, Thane, it doesn't end at the down point. You still got Act 3. What do they
Yeah.
call that low point in stories? It's like the build up, then you got middle of the act, then like right before
So
the
you
final
got
act,
rising
you got
act?
the down point.
I don't know what that is, but
I
I
don't
know
know
the
it either.
climax.
Well, it's always like
It's always
in-
like
in
they drop
Shrek.
hard and
Yeah,
come back up a
in
second.
Shrek when he fights with Donkey and then Fiona
How?
goes to get married.
How in the world are we comparing Jesus to Shrek right now? This is some crazy stuff.
I'm not comparing.
I know, like the
Don't you
story
know?
arcs of them. Though.
Yeah.
That's
Don't you
the
know
crazy
Shrek
part.
is love, Shrek is life.
Oh my God.
But what do they call that? What do they call that low point?
I don't know what it's called. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's in
though.
every show. Like
in every-
I'll think of another one. In Spider-Man, in there,
Spider-Man 2,
Yes.
where he loses his powers.
yes, or Spider-Man 3, where he's the black suit Spider-Man. Everybody hates him, and he's like,
He
man,
slaps
The
Mary Jane.
redemption right at the
yeah,
last second.
exactly. There's
Yeah.
always that
Yeah.
redemption. The final act is the fall and the redemption.
Like it literally, everybody just drops hard, and then all of a sudden they are able to come back and.
Yeah, it's like the
Dude,
classic.
The
cares
fact
part-
that like you correlated this, that like people probably base this off of Christianity in general, like my mind is blown. I knew a lot of like stories were based off of that. This is like a whole nother level of basing their story off of
I
it.
wasn't intentionally drawing that conclusion. I was more so just talking
But
about.
I think you're correct though, even though you weren't drawing that conclusion. I think that is the correct conclusion that has been drawn.
Well, there you have it, folks. Jesus told the best story, and we've just copied it for
We've
centuries.
been copying it for years. All right, how about a story that probably doesn't copy Christianity that I can tell anyway? Let's talk about Lycoris Recoil. This is the warning for the spoilers, everybody. You don't want spoilers for Lycoris Recoil. This is the point where you stop listening.
I'm going to make this very clear. If you have not watched the show, Lycoris Recoil, go watch it. Spoiler free. It's a banger, okay? This is your warning. If you're going to keep watching and you've never seen Lycoris Recoil, you got problems. It's a
Why
good
have
one.
we never done this for the other? What makes Lycoris Recoil so special?
Because it's just a good show.
Go watch and find out. What are you doing here still? Go watch and find out.
We've done it for other shows. I think we did it for like Gurren Lagann, honestly, back
Yeah.
in the day. I'm pretty sure we did it for that one.
Yeah.
Just the other banger shows we've done. I feel like we've said similar things. But shows like Data Live, we're just like,
It's Data Life.
Data Live. All right, Lycoris Recoil. Thane, you picked it. Give us the 5 second or less, or the 5 words. I don't know.
So in the future,
Wait, is it future time?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
I feel like you're right, but I don't
In the
actually
future,
know.
I think it's the not too distant future. There's a secret organization of young girls dressed as schoolgirls who take fools out trying to cause trouble, and they're called Lycoris from Direct Attack or DA, and there's one who's the best, but she doesn't kill, and her name's Chisato, and she has a friend named Takina who like in trying to finish an operation almost killed another Lycoris by pulling out a Gatling gun and killing all those guys. So she gets dropped from DA and gets sent to Cafe Lyco Rico.
Lyco Rico. Lycoris Recoil.
Yeah. To
It's on the nose.
yeah. To work with Chisato, and she teaches him, hey, maybe killing isn't so bad even,
Wait. No. Maybe killing is bad.
Yeah.
Not
Is
isn't
it
so bad. whoa.
maybe not killing isn't so bad.
There you go. There we go.
But in this show, maybe that guy should die.
Maybe question mark.
But Chisato's like, no, I don't want to kill. That's the kind of the show, but not really.
So before we get into it, I remember the first time I watched this show, I thought they were going to end with Chisato actually killing this freaking name,
Mr. Yoshi or
Yeah.
Mashima or not Mashima. What the freak is
Majima.
it? Majima.
Majima. Yeah. Anyway, I thought he's the green-haired villain. I thought the show was gonna end with her killing him. It didn't.
Yeah, he gets away. There's your major spoiler. He gets away at the end.
Yeah. I mean,
Somehow survives a who knows how many feet fall.
I imagine he didn't fall the whole way because
Yeah,
there's
like
no
a
way
freaking-
you're saving that.
Yeah,
to
maybe he
catch
had like
yourself.
a zipline gun or something.
Like he was still fully like he didn't have a bullet in him, you know, like he was able to grab something or something as he fell.
He was just
maybe.
all mummied up.
He was pretty
Yeah.
mummied up, so he got effed up somewhere or other. Anyway, yeah. So let's give some context about how we watched the show back in the day. Skylar was watching this as it came out seasonally. He kept praising it, and I was like, I think it was like episode 5 or 6 that came out, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot too. I was watching. I gotta give you more context. I was watching another show called it's called something. I don't remember, but I remember thinking that this show was going to be the peak show of the season, and I'm like, this show is so fun and so good. And then Skylar was talking about Lycoris Recoil, so I start watching that one, and I instantly was like, oh man, this is better than my show. And I was so mad that Skylar picked the best show of the season and I didn't get to pick the best show. I remember that very specifically. Yeah.
This was one of the first episodes we ever recorded too, or one of the first seasons. Excuse me.
I think it was the second season.
Yeah.
I believe so. So the very first thing I want to point out, and this is episode 1, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's episode 1, and this is how I knew I was gonna like this show. The very first thing, they're chasing somebody, right? Or some. I don't remember the entire context. I just remember somebody gets into a car and they start driving away. Takina shoots the tires out. That's one of the things I've been screaming since I was a 10-year-old boy in every little action film I saw. Just shoot the tires. It's that easy. Shoot the tires.
In real life,
did
it's
it.
not as easy because it's such a tiny little window. And
You could do it. You could do it. Oh, there's so many shows where they're literally like from me to like Skylar and they're driving away. All you gotta do is just shoot the tire once and they
Instead of
can't
shooting at
like
the car.
yeah, exactly. That's what it is. They start shooting at the back window of the car instead of just hitting the tire. And like, sure, they could drive on a rim, but like, let's
Not as
be
good.
honest, they're not getting away that fast without an actual tire. And so Takina does it, and my mind was blown. I'm like, this is the greatest show ever created. It is episode 1, and I can already tell it's the greatest show ever made. She was goated. The show's goated because of that reason. She shoots the tires.
That whole opening sequence was so well. I guess it's the closing sequence of the first episode.
Yeah.
Was so freaking good.
Yes.
Because Talkin is doing that, and then Chisato shows up, and Talkin is like, oh, and it's like, dude, that was so freaking good. That's when you find out that Chisato, for one, is a badass, but 2, she doesn't kill people. She uses rubber bullets.
And she can dodge bullets.
Yeah, she can freaking dodge bullets. Oh, that
I
was
think
so
they are
sick.
rubber. I think you're right. They're rubber.
They explode into
Yeah.
a mist.
I love that detail, by the way. It's like a way to show blood splatting, but not. Oh, dude, it's so clever. So many good things about that choice.
I think one of my favorite parts too is the character. Like, I've always gone back and forth. I remember the first time I watched it till now. Who do I like better? Do I like Chisato? Do I like Takina? Because they're both so different. I think I love Chisato's personality, very bubbly, happy-go-lucky. I love that. But Takina's story arc and character development is so freaking good, dude. I love seeing her go from like a robot that all she can do is take orders to Chisato helping her realize, like, hey, you can make your own decisions. And there was a quote I wrote down. Takina got kicked out of the DA, like Thane was saying. So she's trying really hard to get back into the DA. And after this thing is episode 2 or 3, but Chisato says this to Takina. She says, "You are going to make yourself sad just to meet someone else's expectations." What a freaking killer quote, dude. And after that, Takina's just like, huh, maybe you're right. Maybe who cares what other people think, and I should just like make my own decisions and do what I think is right. So freaking good.
I agree. I like Takina's story much better than anyone else's. I think that Chisato and all the rest of them are phenomenal, but Takina's is that much better in my opinion. Just because, like, seeing just the, like exactly what you said, the story of the robot from the person who's a robot to an emotional human. Like, the part that gets me, it's when she finds out that Chisato's gonna die because her heart's failing, essentially. Just the sure, like, the full-on rage she goes into about that kind of stuff. It's just like, whoa, you can tell, like, obviously Chisato make a difference in Takina's life, but, like, it was, like, the next level. Like, this is her reason for living is Chisato, essentially. So if Chisato's gone, what am I going to do now? And then eventually she comes to, like, the point where she accepts it, right? Like, she still doesn't want it to happen, obviously, and she still fights incredibly hard to the point where she does lose control a little bit, but she's able to look, I think she gets to the point where she is able to go past it and be okay with, not okay, but you know what I'm saying. Like, she's able to eventually get over it. And so I imagine in, like, a season 2, we could see Chisato actually dying. And then that would be another part of her, Takina's arc, is actually dealing with the consequences. Granted, it'd be really hard to kill off Chisato after they worked so hard to make sure she doesn't die. Right. I watched a show back in high school. This wasn't an anime or anything. But literally, season 1 was trying to find this one person, save him, and get him saved. Literally, episode 1 of season 2, he dies. And I'm just like, this is garbage. This show's so bad. Yeah. So I hope they don't ever do that with Chisato. But just overall characters, I have written down, as soon as I finish this time, I have written down, it blows me away that 90% of all of the characters in this show are as deep as they are. Like, both small and large, every one of them has a little arc or character moments and stuff that blows pretty much 90% to 100% of the other anime that I've seen out of the water. The fact that you have tiny little characters like, what's her name? I don't have her name. It's just the girl that saved that Takina saved in episode 1.
Yeah, the peach-haired girl.
Peach-haired girl. They have her whole arc, and they're like, she probably has like 5 minutes total of screen time, but she's got more of a more in-depth arc than most main protagonist characters of other anime. And I'm just like, my mind is just blown that kind of stuff can even happen. So, like, it's clear that so much care went into the writing of this show, and that's just one of the examples. I've got other stuff to talk about later.
Her moment was, she had one moment. It was, wow, I would have died, but because that girl decided to go against orders, I'm alive. And then now she breaks her orders to go save her in the end. It's like, yeah, 5 minutes of screen time. Wow, very in-depth right there.
And impactful, too, mind you. Like, not only was it just an arc in general, it was an impactful arc that impacted the actual story.
Right.
And that's what makes it so much better, in my opinion. It makes it so much more
meaningful
because it actually impacted the story. It wasn't just the random side character that gets their arc that they find out they like robots. I don't freaking know. They like to build robots, and it's like, oh, cool, good for you, sir. It's literally like, this person impacted the major story of the plot. Without this person doing their key moment, the plot wouldn't work.
When I first saw this, I remember back in the day, and it like the memory came back when I watched it again, was, I don't know if you've seen Billy Madison, but at the very end, Steve Buscemi walks in and snipes the bad guy in the butt cheeks. And then Billy's like, I'm sure glad I called that guy. That's what I thought of. Although this is way more meaningful and serious than that. But that was the first thing that came to my brain back in the day. Dude.
Shout out Adam Sandler. Who knew he'd get into our anime podcast?
How about a more serious one in Avengers Age of Ultron, when earlier they tried to call Nick Fury, say, we got to help us. He's like, I'm retired. And then at the last minute in the movie, he comes in and says, I brought the helicarrier.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, thanks for the last minute save there, buddy. You could have come a lot sooner.
Oh, man. Okay, so I guess I could just go through my notes then, essentially, and find things to talk about. There's something else I want to talk about specifically about, what is it? Oh, okay. I want to no. I want to save this one for the end. This is the freaking heart kicker. I'm gonna save that one for the end. All right, so we'll talk about this one. This is episode 8. Episode 8 was the episode that we find out that Chisato is essentially dying. I remember watching this and was convinced that Chisato was gonna die. Mm-hmm. I felt like that there were flags for it. Like it was choreographed that they were going to kill her off in the end. And so I was convinced that, like, yeah, like, this is her dying. Like, she's not coming back, but she's going to die. It might have been the episode where, like jump-started her heart. Not jump-started, but, like,
overcharged
fried it essentially. And I was like, this is how it is. Like, the ending is going to be freaking talking, have to take everything down, like, being able to go become her own person, essentially. And that's what I would like to see in a season 2 of this is that same. That's why I mentioned that, like, Chisato could still die in a later season, but I don't know how you do it without killing off Chisato at this point, talking to her own person and personality and all that. But I digress. I was convinced, and like I said, rewatching it now, like I honestly think that they did want you to believe that she was gonna die. Like they had wrote it in a specific way to make you think, yeah, she's gone. Like that's it. But then they didn't bring her back. They just made it so she doesn't die. Like it's freaking good writing, I think.
Wait, does she have a real heart now? Was that?
No,
she
she
got
got the
another
good one.
robot heart.
Oh.
Yeah, she got the more upgraded, better robot heart, which is another talking point. I don't have this in my notes, but I did want to talk about it. It's left up in the air, right? Like, we don't know if Mr. Yoshi actually did die or if he actually had the heart in him or if it was in the briefcase or not. We obviously saw the scar on him, but it cut away when Mika shot him. So, like, did Mika actually shoot him? Did he actually die for the heart?
I think he's dead.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think that is it Mr. Kashimi? What's his freaking name?
Which one?
The blonde-haired guy.
Yoshi, Mr. Yoshi.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, Yoshi. I took it as when he showed his scar in his chest that the metal heart was in the briefcase. I don't know what he had in his chest at that point, but for me, how I translated that was he was going to die. He was giving up his heart to Chisato.
I see.
Because in that little letter he wrote, that happy birthday thing, he said, I died so that you could keep living, essentially, paraphrased. So I took that as he knew he was going to die. I think it was fitting that Sensei killed him. I can't think of his name either.
Mika.
Yeah, that Mika shot him. I think
he's also
dead.
his gay lover.
See, it was so it was gay vibes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're banging.
Yeah. Okay.
They're literally banging.
There's a scene where they're in a hotel room and they're
both in robes. They were banging.
That makes that scene even more powerful when he's freaking in tears, crying.
Hold on, pause. You didn't pick that up that they were actually gay?
I guess I didn't.
What? There was even I remember. So the second time I didn't pick this up the first time I watched it. But do you remember when they're going to they're trying to they're following Mika and they're like, where's he going? And Chisato and the other girl is just like, oh, he's probably going on a date, maybe. And then they get there and they're like, oh, it's the they're like, oh, is it the leader of the DA? He's like, well, if it's her, then it's not a date. That's what Chisato and the other girl are saying. And they get there and they see Mr. Yoshi walking, and both Chisato and her go, oh, yep, it is a date, actually.
I guess that went over my head.
Yeah, dude. I didn't catch it the first time, but this time I did.
And also in that elevator scene where he gets very up close to him, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
See, I was more focused on Mika and Chisato's relationship, because every time that Mr. Yoshi's there, that's all they talk about.
Yeah.
So that's what I was fixated on.
The other dead giveaways, Chisato kept going, you're my two dads. Come on, Sky.
Once again, I didn't pick up on it. I just thought that he gave her he helped her live while Mika was raising her.
Fair.
Yeah, that went over my head. Although I did think about I thought about it. My gears were turning because of the robe scene when they're in the hotel together.
My favorite part is that gay vibes? That's freaking guy, dude. But no, yeah, they're banging.
But that totally makes that scene hit even more though, because Mika's in tears. I thought they were.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were lovers. I thought they were really good partner buddies.
No, dude, it's
homies.
literally like his husband, essentially.
Yeah, that's so sad. Then
In a roundabout ways.
Freaking-
I mean, they haven't seen each other in years, but
yeah.
they got that close anyway. They could have been husbands.
I guess I'm one of those people that needs to be outright told that this is going on. Someone
You're
needed
the
to say I
protagonist.
love you. Yeah.
All right. So while we're on the subject, do you think Takeda and Chisato are hooking up, or
No, I think they're straight up sisters.
you think they're sisters?
They're sister vibes. That's what I get.
I don't think any of the Lycoris I don't know if it's.
They might not
stated.
even have attraction because they're freaking robots.
Yeah.
I go back and forth. Chisato's definitely into the idea of love, no doubt about it. It's like she's like it's been confirmed. Like that's why she did the whole episode. Like, oh, you got to get good underwear because you might need it sometime.
Yeah.
Like that's a literal thing. And then like at the end when one of the Lilybell boys is like staring at her and talking, to goes, that guy was like staring at you. Do you know her? He's like, he was kind of like that. So she obviously is.
Yeah, she's also had a lot more time to de-brainwash herself, I guess, or be a little
she's
more
been
open.
out of the DA.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's a spark there. I don't know. Maybe it's just me just wanting it to be.
I don't know if DA like trains and be like the Jedi, where it's like, no, you can't have relationships.
Well, I mean, I think they get to 18 years old and they get like they're done, right?
Yeah, I guess they get decommissioned.
Because that's what the other girl in
one.
the cafe was. She was an ex Lycoris Recoil, or Lycoris, not Recoil, but Lycoris. I believe, isn't that correct?
I don't remember.
I feel like it's what. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I just picked up pieces that weren't actually there to pick up.
One of the parts I wanted to talk about too was with Chisato specifically. So we don't really get her character development. It's more like she already is who she is, and we slowly get that leaked to us. Very, very fun. But I did find it so interesting, and I kind of wish they showed it, but I'm also like okay with it that they didn't, is when the freaking squad is disbanding because Chisato's like, hey, I'm going to die. We're just going to close up shop, and then everybody could go do their own thing. She keeps herself together. Like, I don't think they even showed a scene where she cried. But I imagine on the inside, she was just
breaking
losing
down.
it. Yeah, just destroyed, completely destroyed.
You kind of get a little bit of that when Mika gets her yukata and like she gets all dressed up. Like she doesn't obviously break down, but like you can tell like she's very depressed about it. She even like right before that she says she's lonely.
Symbolism in there where it's like dawn and then the sun's shining and she's all glowing, and then Mika's like in the shadows, all depressed looking.
Yeah, it's very fitting because like she's accepted it. She's accepted that she's going right, and like Mika doesn't want to. Like he's
That's
like
her daughter. That's
exactly.
his daughter.
Yeah, he's like I don't want to do this. So I will say this: you're completely right. She already had her character arc, and that's what's super cool about her as a character because we get to see it unfold as if we just get to learn about it, rather, right? But we do get something as a character progression for her right at the very end. It's when she has to shoot Mr. Yoshi. Man, what an incredibly powerful moment that I'm just sad a little bit that we didn't get to sit on it a little bit longer. It's like she shoots him, she freaks out, which rightfully so, but we didn't get to sit on that for very much longer. It's literally like, okay, now we have to immediately go do this other thing. And I wish we could have just like had a moment for her to see the process on Chisato rather than have her guttural scream, which is honestly almost good enough for that scene. But I wish we could have had a little bit longer on that.
Yeah, and speaking of that scene specifically too, though, is we got just prior to her pulling the trigger, like Yoshi's shooting at both of them, and she's like, "Oh f, if I don't do something, Takina's gonna die.
Yeah,
she's gonna die." And so she's like, right then and there, she decided, "I love Takina more than I love the man that saved my life," and she pulled the trigger, and that is like. That's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she has that guttural scream where you're just like, oh my gosh.
Chisato reminds me a lot of Vash the Stampede from Trigun because he refuses to kill. He'll use real bullets sometimes, but he'll use them like in a tactical way, and then he'll use one episode he used rubber bullets. There's one part, not to get into spoilers, but where he like had to shoot someone and it like tore him up.
A very similar scene, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So quickly before we get into
I think it was a bit more emotional and very cinematic in that scene, very brutal.
Very
too.
Kino.
Yeah, very Kino.
I don't know where you're going. I also wanted to talk about the voice acting a little bit. So I don't know if that's
was that the last thing you wanted?
No.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so just because we're already on that Scream thing, I want to talk about how much the English voice actor for Chisato killed her role.
Agreed.
Such a phenomenal job. I went into it at first not liking it that much, especially because I watched the Japanese already. And obviously the Japanese was pretty dang good too, I thought. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't quite remember a lot of the scenes, but I remember not disliking it by any means. But like, if all the rest of the actors in this show in English were kind of just okay, like I don't think anybody else was like phenomenal, except for Chisato. She just destroyed that role. Absolutely just blew it out of the water. So well done. like she was bubbly when she needed to be. She was, you know, like as like serious when she needed to be. The fact that she could flip a switch to switch her voice to serious to bubbly on so freaking good. Okay, so here's the hot take. Dubs are better than subs. And for one specific reason, it's because we get to watch this in our own language, we get subtle nuances more than we would have in another language. There's one specific scene. I don't have it written in my notes, I don't think, but I actually still do remember the scene. It's when Chisato and Takina are outside of Lycoris. It's at night. They're sitting on the bench outside. They're kind of just chatting it up. I don't remember what she says, but she says some just very like bubbly American English phrase. And I'm just like, oh man, I didn't get this kind of a vibe from this scene earlier when I watched in Japanese, and I remembered not getting that vibe. But because it was in my language and I understood my language, it clicked that much more. And I was like, this is crazy. This is why dubs are better.
Yeah, she was able to portray a lot of the emotions and emphasize specific words, and also just say things in very bubbly ways, I guess, for lack of a better term, that it's like, wow, that's very, I agree with what you're saying. I guess I'm trying to find the word to say, but it's very, I guess it just clicks with me better than
absolutely.
It does. You're able to see what is trying to be portrayed through the character, I guess. And yeah, she does a very, very good job.
Not to say the other voice actors were bad. I just think Chisato was miles above them.
Yeah,
in her directing and knowing
out.
The role.
Very much stood out.
And maybe that was the purpose. Maybe that's why they directed it the way they did. Maybe they wanted Chisato to be the focus. Because she is. I mean, she is the main character, right? Maybe that's why they specifically made her voice acting so much more pronounced. I don't know.
Yeah, well, in the way that they can emphasize specific words or change the tone, and we're able to understand that. Because if you change the tone and say something in Japanese,
we're not picking that up.
Yeah, what word am I needing to emphasize this phrase you're saying? Is it her? Is it red? Like, you know what I mean? Whereas in your own language, you can hear and feel in the tone of their voice.
Absolutely. You can kind of get it in Japanese, but you really have to pick it apart if you want to get every bit.
Yeah.
It's so much easier in your own language. Okay, that's all I want to say about dubs versus subs. What were you going to talk about?
So it's just a few little details before we get into your final things that you guys wanted to say. But some of the details I really enjoyed is those mid-break screenshots I thought were so freaking cool.
Oh, the art's really good.
They showed a lot of detail in there too, though, of like, so I think it was one of the first ones. Takina is holding a gun at Chisato, and then it cuts to Chisato, and she's holding a rose at Takina, and I'm just like, oh, I see what you did there. Very cute.
Yep.
The other thing.
Also, I remember there was one where they're smoking spider lilies, and one of the creators of this show goes into the pseudonym Spider Lily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is clever.
I didn't pick up on that.
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
The other thing too that I really enjoyed was when Takina first was finding out about Chisato, and I can't remember who said it to her, or maybe it was just Takina witnessing Chisato in battle, but it was like, yeah, she can't get hit by a bullet. The more accurate you are, the worse you are going to be at hitting her.
Yes.
Because she's able to predict everything. So to test this, Takina gets a rubber band and points it at her and then shoots, and Chisato dodges and it hits Kurumi. And Takina's like, huh. So she used that later when she was aiming at it was during the practice fight with the two girls. So Takina aims at Chisato and shoots at her, but she knew that Chisato would dodge it, so she does, and it freaking hits the other girl. I thought that was so freaking cool.
On that same note, I want to bring up the one time Chisato did get shot in the show. The very end, we have, I think it's like episode 2 or 3, we have Majima versus Chisato. Majima turns off the lights, and he starts going crazy because he can hear everything, and she's just so lost. But he still loses that fight because Chisato is able to cheat by Takina breaking in some light, and then they work together. Majima realizes that my advantages over Chisato isn't going to get me the win. I have to hit her and her actual weakness, not just make it so she can't have sight. And her actual weakness was protecting people and like trying to save people. So what he does is in the very last episode, he kicks the cell phone off the edge of that thing and she turns to go get it. And because she's not looking at him, he can take the shot and hit her. So he knew that all he had to do was actually hit her in the real weakness so he could shoot her, actually hit her.
See,
freaking clever writing.
That whole thing too, though, with Majima, like the moment right before that, where those two are just broing out, and she's drinking a drink. She's
so
like, "This is so good, try it." He's just like, it's too sweet or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't even blow anybody up. He shoots off fireworks. What a freaking 100 IQ moment right there too, where you're like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? But then he still goes out and kills people. Like the very last scene, we get him picking up a gun and handing it to a guy freaking out, and of course that dude's gonna end up shooting somebody.
Yeah.
His whole purpose was to show that Lycoris exists, essentially, and he did it. He did it, but he ended up
kind of got undone
a little bit. But yeah.
Speaking of which, with the whole gun thing, and Thane joked about it a couple days ago, but rewatching it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so dumb.
It's the guy who's in the park. It's like, oh god, and the cop's like, put the gun down, huh?
He's like freaking out. He's like, what? The gun? No.
He trips. He falls into his freaking.
He's in a bench. He's sitting on
sight.
a bench. Yeah, he's just sitting there on a bench.
It's like, here's an idea. If a cop aims your gun at you and tells you to put the gun down, put the gun down.
Whoa. Anyway, I thought that was very
and then there's that one where the guy was like, where Maji was on the screens like, take authority, take action. And then like he grabs the gun and tries to shoot the Lycoris.
Yeah.
And it's like, what were you trying to do there, bro? She's like, specially trained, but she's probably one of the worst, and she had like the slowest reaction time to that, and she got shot too. It's like,
well, it's because her orders were not to shoot any civilians, even if they had guns. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So that's why she was like hesitating, like, freak, dude, like this guy's gonna actually shoot me, but I'm supposed to not shoot these people. Like, I'm gonna die if I don't. And so I get where she was coming from.
Yeah.
So before I do the last little topic that I want to talk about, let's just talk about the choreography of the show. Let's talk about how good this John Wick kind of a show actually is.
So good.
It's incredible how some of this, the little subtle things in these highly choreographed fight scenes are as cool as they are. I mean, John Wick gets away with it the entire movie because that's literally the point of the movie.
Yeah, he's kind of numb to it.
Exactly.
And also they killed his dog, so they gotta die.
And then in Lycoris Recoil, it's literally, I swear, dude, it's the people that created this show, they watched John Wick a million times so they could try to do similar choreographic things.
So what if I told you during the creative process, the original creators writing it was going to disregard human life. He was just going to have him kill regardlessly. And then the producer said, hey, that's too dark. You got to make it a little lighter. So that input had him made Chisato.
That's
it's
crazy because that changes the entire
Totally
direction of the
does.
show.
And I think that makes her character better.
Agreed.
I don't even know if Chisato was... I don't know what the original process was. But yeah, they told him, hey, make it lighter. So he probably made Chisato like that. But yeah, in a different world, there was going to be Lycoris Recoil, but it was going to be people getting their brains blown out.
Just straight up John Wick everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't have any specific scenes I can think of in my head other than the intro. There's a tiny, minuscule fight scene we have with Taken and Chisato just shooting at people. And at one point, like, you just see their teamwork essentially with the choreography, where one of them shoots, the other one pulls out their backpack, has the balloon thing pop out the right time, and then she puts it away, and they keep shooting. Like, that is just the perfect example of how good the choreography of the fights are, because pretty much every single fight's got subtle little things like that. Yeah. Like, subtle little things where, like, she pulls her hand backward, shoots, turns this way, shoots. It's just John Wick stuff. And if you like that stuff, you just watch all the John Wicks. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I got something to say on that, too, on the choreography, is they actually implement that into the story, too, with the way that Takina and Chisato, like, their different fighting styles.
Yes.
Because they're shooting the guns in practice. They're shooting the rubber bullets, and Talking is like, bro, I can't hit anything. And then Chisato's like, yeah, that's kind of why I do this and get up close so I can't miss.
Yep.
And she does. That first opening scene where she's shooting the gamers in the van, she's freaking right up in their grill.
Yes.
It's so
They
cool.
had the detail where rubber bullets aren't.
Is accurate.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just Talking in general is just a better shot too than
Yeah.
Chisato ever was with real bullets, which is another very clever way to make it so that Chisato's not all powerful and that Talking does have an edge on her in another way. But it's just because Chisato just says, okay, then you're so good at shooting, then you just shoot for non-vital spots, then jerk.
Yeah, literally. And she does that for the rest of the show.
rest of the show. And she always keeps her freaking strap gun too with her.
Yeah.
She just straps him to the wall.
Yeah. I thought she was going to kill that big guy at the end when she freaking shoots his neck to the wall. He's just like, I think he lived.
All right. Here's the big thing that really just hit me this time around. I'm sure it hit me the first time, but this time specifically, it freaking blew my mind. And it's at the very end, you're kind of sucked into the notion that we're just watching an action anime. We're just like, oh man, this is so hype. We got so much action. We got so much cool choreography. The day is saved. We got all the bad guys. We're all so happy. They're all just chilling, talking with each other. And someone comments to I don't remember her name. The girl with like the short haircut that's from DA with the red. She's like a first agent.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
Anyway, someone comments to her, says, you went against orders, so you might get kicked out of DA as well. And then Chisato goes, yeah, I guess you go to Lycoris Recoil. Then she goes, or Licorico. She's going, oh, but what uniform would you wear? Nah, you can just use mine.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Chisato.
subtle.
And then it shows Taki in his face, and she reacts heavily to that. And I'm just like, I'm with you, Taki. I'm with you. I forgot this was even a thing we have to deal with now. I'm so sad and scared. And it's just masterful writing. Using what you have to your availability to force something else to come to light and, like, remind you and hit you in a specific emotion. Like, it's insane, dude.
But since it's
so
delivered
good.
from Chisato in a very bubbly way, it could go right over your head, too.
The other people's, like, the other in the group, obviously they didn't know. It went over their head, but talking to it hit
I
her
caught
like a
it.
truck.
It's like, that was a comment.
very
she
dark.
made.
Dude, it's very dark, but, like, man, does it fit that story? Because, like I said, you're so absorbed into this action. Your mind is so far from even thinking Chisato is gonna die. Like, that's not even a second thought.
Right.
And then, like, it hits you. It hits you like a freaking truck. If you're really, I mean, you don't just pay super attention, but if you're not paying attention, you miss it. It's very sad. But if you're paying attention, you're flat out. You're just bawling your eyes out, dude. It's brutal, absolutely brutal. Masterful writing, but man, it got me good this time around. I was like, Chisato, no.
What a banger show, dude.
So freaking good.
So I had previously given this a 9 back in the day. This is a 10 through and through, in my opinion.
Agreed. I'm gonna change mine as well because after a second rewatch, like, all of my expectations were still met. Essentially, I had zero expectations going in the first time. This time around, all of them were re-met, and I loved the show just as much as I did back then. Maybe even more because I understood a little bit more here and there. I was able to pick up some things here and there.
Right.
I don't have a lot of complaints about this show. I really don't. There's really not much that I would even point to as like I wish this could have been a little bit better, because there's not very much of that. There are some things, obviously, if you really want to nitpick, things like the other two, like Kurumi and the other girl at the Lycoris, didn't have much development, but I imagine if a season 2 eventually comes out, we might get more stuff from them there anyway, so...
Yeah, but I thought they played their roles really good,
They
too.
did their roles.
You got a hacker,
Exactly.
and then you got the freaking chauffeur.
Exactly. Not only that, but, like, their character roles in general, like, they weren't supposed to be the main
Right.
protagonist or the spotlight. They were literally supporting characters, and they supported. They did what their job description was.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Very, very well written show. Probably one of the best I've seen in a while. So yeah, 10. Good stuff. Good job.
Got anything else, Thane?
I don't know.
Banging show.
Yeah, it was a
Banger.
good show.
Well, speaking of bangers, I actually don't know if this next show is going to be a banger or not.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
time to pick the new show.
Oh yeah,
Let's go.
season 2 is not announced, but hopefully those 6 short films they will announce this season 2 because it's just filler. The 6 short films I looked up, it's just filler.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want more. I'll take it.
I'll take the filler happily.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next show is going to be, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly or not,
Uh-oh.
Rokka Braves of the Six Flowers, or Rokka.
Rokka?
Do you know this one, Thane?
Oh God.
Do you know it?
Oh,
Such a-
no.
I watched this back in the day and I was like, oh, this is gonna be hype.
Do you remember anything about it?
Such a big letdown.
Oh, no. We're locked in, though.
Should I change
Where
my
they-
pick?
We're
No,
locked
no,
in.
no.
They just
Where
dunked
they-
on it.
I think the problem is it was too short of a runtime for a bigger idea as they wanted. And then they only could, it's a light novel, so they only could adapt that tiny part for 13 episodes. It's just a slog.
We're locked in, though.
I think we
We're
should
locked
I think we
in.
should
Locked
change it.
in.
I think we should change
No,
it.
you can.
No,
you
we're
can keep it.
locked.
We're
You
locked
said
in.
it.
No.
You said it.
Oh no, Thane. Now I have preconceived notions of what the show's gonna be.
All right, what is it? Rokka of the Flowers? Or what did you say it
Rokka
was?
Braves of the Six Flowers.
Rokka Braves of the Six Flowers. That's what we will be watching for next time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any comments about Lycoris Recoil, please tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what your favorite scenes are in the comments. We'd love to hear you. And we'll debate if you say it's a bad show because you're wrong. And thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll see y'all next time. And have a great life, everybody. Take care.
Bye.